Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. It's time to kick off the third and final season of Covertape Chaos Zzapped this week. I've got 12 tapes left to look at over the rest of the year, and hopefully there will be some gems left to unearth amongst the full games and demos that were featured on these. The demos are starting to become a bit rarer as the C64 moved into the twilight years of its commercial lifespan, so the mags had to rely on going back to older game releases to pad out their tapes. As you might expect, this meant that the games included weren't always of the best quality. They remain interesting to take a look at nevertheless. And for those who fear that Covertape Chaos might be ending after this run, then don't worry, I still have the Commodore Force real action tapes to cover, and I have plans for even further in the future as well. For now though, let's focus on this issue, which was number 82. Robocop 3 featured on both the front cover and this tape, and I must admit I don't remember there being a C64 version of this game at all, just a fairly impressive 3D Amiga game. Elsewhere in the mag there was coverage of a couple of licensed cartoon games in the Jetsons and Potsworth & Co, and the fighting game Budokan. Now let's get on with checking out the tape. First up is Alleykat by Andrew Braybrook, which is a game I have tried to play in the past and never really understood until now. It is described as part racing game and part shoot 'em up, though really if you do try and play it quickly like a racer, then you'll most likely end up getting a game over screen pretty quickly. Instead, I would recommend taking it slowly, at least until you get used to the game. Upon starting it up, you are offered a choice from a few different events, the first few sets of which are free to enter. Instead of conventional lives, in this game you get to carry on as long as you can cover the entry fee of one of the upcoming events. As soon as you can't afford one of them, your game is at an end. Should you crash and burn, which is very easy to do, then you don't get any money at all other than any that you may have picked up by flying over G's on the track. If you are close to exploding, then your ship will flash, so you should then look for small E's on the ground to recover some energy. You need to make sure you're flying close enough to the ground to activate them though, and you can control your height by pushing up and down on the joystick. If you move your joystick left and right quickly, you will transform into something resembling an X-Wing and be in combat mode, where you fire more bullets at the enemies. I would suggest staying in this mode most of the time, but unfortunately it is all too easy to accidentally transform back into speed mode. The controls also feel very sluggish. It takes what feels like a good second or two before your craft even begins to respond to your input. The different events that you choose have different types, such as slalom, survival, speed and destruction. These basically dictate what you need to do in order to earn a bonus in each of them. With slalom, for example, if you go through the archways on the course, you will earn a bonus, and with destruction you should shoot as much of the scenery as you can. This is actually the first time that I began to have fun playing Alleykat, as I managed to stay alive for a while and make some progress. But even now it can still prove to be quite a frustrating game to play thanks to the controls. It is possible to have a decent enough time with this one, but it isn't by no means a great game. 2 of 3 Zzap reviewers really liked the game, but one had plenty of reservations, which led to them giving it a score of 89% and concluding with a lot of disagreement amongst the team. Try before you buy. Up next is Black Thunder, designed and programmed by Tony Crowther with music by the late Ben Dalglish. I had never heard of this one before, but after doing a bit of research it turns out this is a sequel to an older game called Suicide Express, which had a similar premise. In Black Thunder you control a futuristic vehicle who is under constant attack from missiles and helicopters. A press of the fire button will shoot forwards and release a missile behind you at the same time, so you can attack things on the road in front of you and anything that may be chasing you. You only have a limited amount of ammo, so you need to be constantly picking more up. When I first tried to play this game I was dying in seconds and I had no idea why. It turns out in order to be successful at all at this one, then you need to be watching the lower map more than the side view of your car up above, and using the joystick to switch lanes so that you can avoid missiles behind you and keep track of things on the road coming towards you. The little blue dots on the map are ammo for you to collect. Even after I knew what I was doing, I still found this game incredibly difficult and therefore not especially enjoyable. I was fairly impressed by the use of speech in the game though, particularly when it reads out your final score at the end of a game. Zzap don't seem to have reviewed this one, but other mags of the time, such as Your Commodore, seem to have quite enjoyed it. We conclude this tape with a playable demo of the opening level from Ocean's Robocop 3 game. I remember being pretty over Robocop by this point, mainly because the third movie wasn't getting very good reviews due to being extremely toned down compared to the first two entries in the series. So while I did dabble with the Amiga release mainly due to the use of a fully 3D open world, like I said in the intro, I didn't know that Ocean had made a C64 version this time. This particular level is a shooting gallery stage where you control a crosshair and have to gun down thugs before they kill you. If you manage to position the crosshair close to the heads of the enemies, then you will lock on, making it a lot easier to hit the enemies. But even then, this still proves to be quite tricky. This demo doesn't offer much in the way of feedback when you die or win either, it just dumps you back to the title screen. Looking at some of the user reviews online of the full game, the consensus is that this opening level is rather frustrating to get past, and the more conventional platforming stages that follow are actually a lot better. That makes me want to try out the full game at some point. Even Zzap agreed, with Corky saying, "For my money, the difficulty is a touch too high on the first few levels." But that didn't stop them giving the game a sizzler and a high rating of 92%. So there we have it, the first episode of Season 3 done and dusted already. I wasn't terribly keen on any of these, to be perfectly honest with you, though I do want to practice with Alleykat a bit more, as I think there is a solid game in there for those willing to put the time in with it. I will be revisiting it for my Evercade C64 Collection 1 video, so that will give me the opportunity to reassess it. For now though, all that remains is for me to ask which one of these was your favourite, and to bid you a fond farewell until the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. In the meantime, take care.